This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Hey listeners, this is Peter, and welcome back to the History Shorts. Today's episode is brought to you by the Podcast Republic, your ultimate listening app. Discover and subscribe to thousands of podcasts from around the world. Download Podcast Republic today, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Today on History Shorts. In the autumn of 1014, the Byzantine Emperor Basil II captured approximately 15,000 Bulgarian soldiers after the Battle of Kleidion. He ordered them blinded, every one of them. He left one eye to every 100th man, so that those men could lead the other 99 home. And then he sent them back to the Bulgarian Emperor Samuel. When Samuel saw his army return, column after column of sightless men, led by their one-eyed guides across the Balkan mountains, he suffered what the sources describe as a stroke. He died 2 days later. He was approximately 60 years old. He had spent most of his life building Bulgaria into the greatest power in the Balkans, and Basil II had destroyed it, not with a final decisive battle, not with a siege, but with the most calculated act of psychological warfare in the entire history of the medieval world. Our history brief today returns to history is weird and why left-handed people were historically mistrusted. A quick word from our sponsors.
Do you hear that? That sound, right? That means that summer's officially here. It means that grown adults just sprint into the street for a frozen dessert shaped like a cartoon. But this summer, Mint Mobile has a better treat. Every plan, including unlimited, is $15 a month. And unlike ice cream, it won't drip down your wrist or look nothing like the picture. Does anyone have any cash? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. New customer offer for initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
This day in history. On August 23, 1939, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union signed their non-aggression pact, an agreement that secretly divided Eastern Europe into spheres of influence and paved the way for the outbreak of World War II just days later. On August 23, 1966, NASA's Lunar Orbiter 1 transmitted the first photograph of Earth as seen from the vicinity of the Moon, offering humanity a breathtaking new perspective on its home planet. Story of the day. To understand what happened at Kleidion, you have to understand what had been happening between Byzantium and Bulgaria for the previous half century. The Byzantine Empire in the late 10th century was the most powerful state in the Christian world, a sophisticated administrative and military machine that had endured for 6 centuries and regarded itself as the direct heir of Rome. Bulgaria was its most persistent and most dangerous neighbor. The First Bulgarian Empire had been a thorn in Byzantium's side since the 7th century, expanding and contracting through a series of wars, treaties, and temporary absorptions that never quite resolved into permanent Byzantine supremacy. Samuel had risen to power in the chaos following a Byzantine military disaster in 971 CE, when Emperor John I had briefly conquered Bulgaria, only to watch it reconstitute itself under a new ruling family. Samuel was the survivor of that family. His 3 brothers were killed or captured by the Byzantines. He built a new Bulgarian state from nothing, expanding it at Byzantium's expense across most of the Balkans, establishing a new capital at Ohrid in what is now North Macedonia, and prosecuting a war against Constantinople that lasted with interruptions for nearly 4 decades. He was, by any measure, one of the most formidable rulers of the medieval world. He met his match, however, in Basil II. Basil II came to the Byzantine throne under unpromising circumstances. He had been nominally emperor since childhood, but had spent his early reign under the effective control of court ministers and military strongmen who had no intention of letting him actually rule. He seized real power in his late 20s and revealed himself to be something the Byzantine court had not anticipated: a military commander of exceptional ability and exceptional ruthlessness. He spent the first decade of his reign fighting civil wars against rebellious generals and winning those. Then he turned his attention to Bulgaria. The war he prosecuted against Samuel from the 990s onward was neither chivalrous nor restrained. Basil campaigned year after year, systematically devastating Bulgarian territory, burning crops, destroying fortresses, and killing prisoners. He understood that Samuel's empire was sustained by the productive capacity of the land and the loyalty of its people, and he set about destroying both. The Bulgarians matched him, ambushing Byzantine columns in mountain passes, raiding Byzantine territory, surviving year after year through a combination of tactical skill, geographic advantage, and Samuel's organizational genius. For nearly 2 decades, neither side could deliver the decisive blow. The Battle of Kleidion on July 29, 1014, was fought in a mountain pass in what is now southwestern Bulgaria. Samuel had fortified the pass with wooden walls and a strong garrison, a defensive position designed to block the Byzantine advance. Basil attacked frontally and made no progress. Then a Byzantine general named Zephias led a flanking force over the mountains, a grueling march through difficult terrain that brought his troops behind the Bulgarian position. The Bulgarians attacked from both front and rear, but collapsed. The rout was complete. Approximately 15,000 men were captured, a significant portion of Samuel's remaining field army. Basil stood before 15,000 prisoners and made a decision that he almost certainly thought through carefully. Killing them all would be wasteful and would produce no particular effect beyond the immediate. Releasing them would reconstitute Samuel's army. Enslaving them would consume Byzantine resources. What he chose instead was something different, something that would travel, something that would arrive. The blinding of 15,000 men took time. The sources do not record how long. They do record the method, though: the gouging of both eyes from every prisoner, with every 100th man left with one eye to serve as guide. They record the result: columns of blind men, 100 to each sighted guide, walking westward through the mountains toward Bulgaria. The precision of the one eyed guides is the detail that reveals the calculation behind the act. Basil did not merely want to incapacitate Samuel's army, he wanted Samuel to see it come home. He wanted the message delivered. And, well, it was delivered. When Samuel saw his army return, the chroniclers say he saw them from a distance at first, then understood what he was seeing. He suffered a catastrophic physical collapse. The sources describe it as a stroke, though the medieval terminology is imprecise. He lost consciousness. He was revived briefly. He asked for water and for the seals of his empire, the symbols of his authority. And 2 days after seeing his blinded army walk home, Samuel of Bulgaria died. He was the last great ruler of the First Bulgarian Empire. Without him, the political structure he had built could not hold. Basil spent the next 4 years completing what the battle had begun, absorbing Bulgaria into the Byzantine Empire piece by piece. By 1018, the First Bulgarian Empire had ceased to exist. A state that had defied Byzantium for more than 3 centuries was now gone. The name history gave Basil II tells you everything about how his own world judged what he had done at Kleidion. Not Basil the Great, not Basil the Just, Basil the Bulgar-Slayer. The name was not a condemnation. In the Byzantine world, it was a title of honor, acknowledgement of a military achievement of the First Order. The blinding of 15,000 men was not remembered as an atrocity. It was remembered as a masterstroke. And that tells us something about the medieval world and its standards that should not be softened. The history brief. Imagine you're a child growing up a few hundred years ago. You pick up a pencil with your left hand. Your teacher immediately takes it away. You reach for a spoon with your left hand. Your parents stop you. You try writing again, and you're told to use your right hand instead. For centuries, being left handed wasn't just considered unusual, many people believed it was suspicious. So, why were left handed people distrusted? Well, the answer begins with a simple fact: because they are so rare. Even today, only about 10% of people are naturally left handed. Throughout history, anything uncommon often attracted superstition, and language only reinforced the idea. The Latin word for right is dexter, which eventually gave us the English word dexterous, meaning skillful or capable. The Latin word for left is sinister. Yes, the word we now use to describe something evil literally began as the Latin word for left. Many other languages developed similar associations. In French, the word gauche means left, but it also came to mean awkward or clumsy. Across Europe, the right hand became associated with honor, skill, and virtue. The left hand, well, not so much. Religion also played a role here. In medieval Christian art, the righteous were often depicted at God's right hand, while the damned appeared on his left. Over time, people began connecting left handedness with bad luck, misfortune, or even the devil. None of this had any scientific basis, of course, but cultural beliefs can be incredibly powerful. The consequences were real. For centuries, left handed children were routinely forced to switch hands. Teachers tied left hands behind students' backs. Some struck children with rulers whenever they reached for a pen with the wrong hand. Others believed forcing right handedness would improve intelligence, discipline, and morality. We now know they were all mistaken. In fact, forcing naturally left handed children to switch can create unnecessary frustration and, in some cases, contribute to difficulties with writing and learning. Increasingly, left handedness occasionally became an advantage. In fencing, boxing, and other forms of combat, left handed fighters often surprised right handed opponents who had very little experience facing them. Even today, left handed athletes are disproportionately successful in several sports. So, the very trait that once inspired suspicion can sometimes become a competitive edge. Modern science suggests left handedness is simply a normal variation in human biology, influenced by genetics and early development. There's nothing unlucky about it, nothing sinister, nothing morally suspect, just a different way of using your hands. I know, history's weird. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and helping make this little show such a mighty success. If you're enjoying this show and would like to help with its production, you can always donate a few dollars at buymeacoffee.com or become a Patreon member to enjoy these episodes ad-free. Both of those links can be found on our website at www.historyshortspodcast.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel where we have different series and videos that are not part of this main feed. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you all again tomorrow.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host. You seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience in their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's Libsyn ads.com today.